All right, welcome everybody. Today we're looking into still how to be present with this deepest part of yourself that the Creator created. I was just listening to a book and the author was talking about how sometimes when we just say the word God, we limit it. We just have this idea of God and we stop it at that. It's like if I had a drawing of a bird over here. I don't know where it went. But if you just say the word bird, then you stop looking at it. You stop exploring it. You stop seeing what it is. Let me see if I have it. It was a drawing that I did oh, here. It fell underneath my stapler. All right, so I just did this at my friend's house one day when I was waiting for her to come home. Her kids had crayons out or something, or pencils. And so, but if you just say bird, then you limit what's there. And so when we just say God, we limit what's there. And so today I like teaching based on songs that come to me, because songs are always talking about, they're always coming from a higher realm, and so they're always taking us through the process. I took a class like 20 years ago with this wonderful musician. He taught at Oxford, and or I think Oxford or Cambridge. I had the class out there in England. And it was at a conference, so who knows? I can't remember if he had an English accent or if he was from America, but I think he had an English accent. So anyway, he was talking about when you start a song, you start at this home and then you go out, in the adventure, and then you come back to home, you resolve. And so if you understand, like, we all came from this oneness, the I am that I am, and then we go out from God and then we go back to God. That's in almost every religion, is you can understand it. Even if you think of Adam and Eve, God made Adam and Eve and then took Eve out of Adam. So they were one, and God took Eve out of his side, right? It says rib, but it's out of Adam's side. But it says at the beginning, when God made Adam and Eve, right? He breathed a soul into them. And so you don't have to, I don't want to get in theological debates. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meier. I don't know if I said that. I'm a psychologist in my day job, so I use my psychology in the way that I think, but also I studied theology and whatever, be here or not. If you want to look up my qualifications, you're welcome to, but I'm going to just teach because anyway, and so a song, here I have a chart. Let me get this chart for a second. It's awesome. It's, I just got it off the internet. It is Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. And so you'll see, this is so awesome. I'm so glad. I spent all this time last week laminating all of these things for us so that we could have them in videos. See, from now on, I am a swan. That means soul with a name. So that's what we're talking about. So we have a name, but I was friends with this musician, Elliott Smith, and he wrote a song and it goes up the scale. And so he said his music always his lyrics always are combined with the music. He said, apart from the music, it wouldn't mean the same thing. But some of us, he was a genius. He was a genius at lyrics and at music. And so sometimes we just hear the song and we feel it, but we don't know what he's expressing. We just get a knowing, which is your knowing, and the consciousness that is so much bigger than our brain. Our brain, I used to have like a bottle cap. Our brain is like this little, right there compared to the vast intelligence that you have access to. But our brain's useful. It's just like if you had $1 million old violin, that's valuable. It's just like That's not where you're going to put all your worth in. You can't do everything. You can't wash your dishes with this violin. And so when the brain starts taking over you, then you're using it in the wrong capacity, in a capacity that's not useful. Okay, so here, and I don't remember where I just Googled this, so look it up. Whoever, credit to whomever did this, but look at this. So I have this, I'll scroll it in, sorry about the glare of the light that I have. I have a light that can light up this, but it's Joseph Campbell's 17-stage monomyth. So you don't have to, based on The Hero with 1,000 Faces, part 1, The Adventure of the Hero. But anyway, it's like the separation and return. So we don't have to know all of this, don't worry. It's the same thing as Tolkien. He wanted to call his first book, The Hobbit, well, his first, of that series. There's The Hobbit and then The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, those 3. Anyway, The Hobbit was called There and Back Again, all right? A Hobbit's adventure. And so he goes out and then he comes back. He goes out, kills the dragon, learns his lessons, almost dies lots of different times, saves Thorin's life, saves other people's lives, his life is saved, and finds the ring that becomes the whole story of the Lord of the Rings. I get so moved by this. Like Tolkien is like a father to me. And so it's not just a story. He's conveying so many deep truths about our lives. And you don't have to know it as deeply as I do. Maybe you know it more deeply, but anyway, here, I'll just start on some of these. I'll say some of them. You have this call to adventure, right? Just like Luke does in Star Wars. And then there's like the refusal of the call. No, I'm not going to go. Same with Moses. I was just doing this Bible study thing the other day, and they were talking about how Moses, God asked him all these different ways to go. And Moses said, but I can't speak well. Go, but I can't do this well. Go, I am with you, but I am with you. The answer every time. It was so great. I wish I remembered who was teaching us, because it was just a video that we watched on YouTube, so I could link it. If I remember, I'll link it, but I don't even know if you'd get it. It's like, anyway, but I'm conveying it to you nonetheless, so you can have it, because now you're getting it through me, through this. It came through the, I just made coffee. I never, maybe this is why I don't drink coffee very often, but I'm drinking it lately. And so it's like the hot water going through all those grounds. If you think of like the light of God that goes through each of us are a different puzzle piece on this earth. And so each of us are a different expression of the divine. And so what I'm saying might come across 1,000% more resonant with you than you going to that Bible study, watching that same video that I watched. It just spoke to me because I was in the context that I needed to be in. And it wouldn't speak to you because it would set off a bunch of triggers or something like that. All right, so we'll just trust that. And so, but if you think this is a universal thing, so Luke was called to go to Tatooine, right? No, to go. Obi-Wan was saying, come with me, and we got to go help Leia. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. And he's like, I can't go. I have to stay here and work on the farm. He's like, that's your Uncle Owen speaking, And he didn't know that he was from the Jedi lineage, and we don't know until we read 1st or 2nd Peter, where it says, you are a royal priesthood. You are called, each of us are called to be kings and priests. And when you remember that, you can know that. You can already know that in your soul, that all of us were called to that. That's when we came out of the Creator, the I am that I am. I always get my nails done in this sparkly way, because that's like our soul nature. If you saw it, it's all sparkly and we look like stars, right? And you can see this I have this over my desk, a verse from Daniel 12, 2-3. It says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Verse 3 says, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness, this right way of beingness that Christ walked, right, that other people can wake us up to. But Christ gives us his righteousness too. So there's a lot in that. But that, and they that turn many to righteousness, God showed me in my meditation, right wayness. You're walking in this right way, in alignment. You're going back home to where, by your actions in this earth, you still have to be here. I mean, we get to be here, whatever. And they that turn many to righteousness will shine as the stars forever and ever. So we're meant to shine like the stars. All right. And so 2 Peter reminds us of that. A priest brings the needs of the people to God, right? Think of the vocation of a priest, and the priest brings God to the people. And so if you just are a bunch of coffee grounds the way you are, and this hot water of God goes through you and makes into this coffee cup, when you're just being your real self, you're bringing God to the people. You're acting in the vocation that you are as a priest, but you don't know it. So you don't want to overthink it, but you don't want to forget your true calling and just like sit on the couch and eat potato chips and leak out this vital energy. Jesus says the thief comes in John 10:10 to kill, steal, and destroy. I have come that you may have life and life abundantly. This is this vibrant life that's meant to flow in you and out of you. Jesus says when you drink of the water that I give you, in you will be this wellspring of life. Anyway, there's this vibrancy. So there's just other stuff. I've made lots of videos about that. Like there's one video, just look up my name on YouTube and stopping the leaks, or I don't know if I hashtagged it leaks, or hopefully I will tag it in this video, or remind me to, and I will. I'll just put a note, 1150 leaks video. And I forgot the other, oh yeah, and link, sometimes I put it in the pinned comments, the Moses video, if I find it. It's not imperative, but the lesson is understanding that there are universal themes. And so we're also meant to be kings. Adam and Eve were told to reign in the garden over the earth, and that doesn't mean use animals in the wrong way and use food in the wrong way and all that stuff. It means, a good king provides for the kingdom and is thoughtful and is aligned with the creator, who's the king above all. That's in a different passage that I was meditating on the other day. Oh, I have it. I have it right here. Because I grabbed my journal. This is the journal that it's in. It's a great one. But anyway, we're not going to get caught up in this. It says in Isaiah 33:22, right? That's how I was trying to memorize it, but I forgot. Isaiah is a prophet. He says, for the Lord is our judge. The word Lord is capitalized here. It means the I am that I am, the absolute infinite beingness. And even that limits the idea of God, but God, and I was going to go back. Hold on, I'll go back. This is the coffee a little bit, but that's okay. So live with that. Is my friend Elliot was singing this song, and it goes, everything means nothing to me. All right, and see how it goes up a scale. I don't know all the musicality that he knew because I studied psychology and Greek and Hebrew and whatever else. But everything means no thing to me, all right, is when you let go of the thingness of stuff. You get to know this deeper essence, like this. I didn't know how to draw before, and I it's just like I'll show you my other drawing if I get to it, but just don't name this. Just look at it like this live. There's green behind, and we don't even have to name the color, but you just see something that was alive, that someone put in a picture, and then I was just looking at that picture and drawing. Anyway. And so it says in Isaiah 33:22, for the Lord, the I am that I am, is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king. He will save us. Therefore, other translations say, because of that, he will keep us safe. He will save us. And what does it mean to be saved? There's lots of nuances in that. But anyway, so here, there's this call to adventure, and then there's the first refusal of the call. All right. Leia, come here. There's some squeaking car outside. And then there's supernatural aid. There's crossing the first threshold. Look, Moses got the supernatural aid. He saw the burning bush that didn't consume the bush. And God said to him, I am that I am, because he said, what name shall I go and tell them? And he says that the I am that I am sent you. The I am, this absolute infinite beingness. And he said, take your shoes off, for this is holy ground. So anyway, there's the crossing the threshold. Then you go in the belly of the whale, like Jonah had to go in the whale for 3 days. If you know the story of Jonah, this is like our dark night of the soul. And then the road of trials, meeting with the goddess. Joseph Campbell just wrote it like that. It's kind of like there's a Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings that they meet with. But I'm reading this book right now. I left it downstairs. Boethius, I'm rereading this book, The Consolation of Philosophy from the 400s. And Lady Wisdom comes. And wisdom is portrayed as a woman oftentimes in the scriptures as well. And so she comes and she shows him this other side. And so, of course, Leia shows up for Luke, and he's inspired by this princess woman asking for the help, but she's also giving wisdom in her own way by going, you can do this, And anyway, then the woman as a temptress. So you'll all of us, even as women, there's oftentimes, there's always, but some kind of temptation for a lesser good, a quick fix. I heard this one teacher, I love it. He loves tacos, right? And he's like, do you want one taco or do you want a whole taco factory? And I heard the definition of temperance is to delay the immediate gratification for the greater good that's more remote. That's the definition of temperance. And temperance is one of the fruits of the Spirit. If you want to know, love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, meekness, and self-control, temperance. It's not just controlling yourself. It's going, do I want one taco right now? Or do I want to have this refining fire build me into the star that I'm meant to be shining, this noble person who, you're not earning this nobleness. You are this. God created you by putting a soul in you. Innately, you are this, but we're covered up. It's just like if the sun is covered up by a bunch of clouds, you're not going to feel the sunshine. If you're clouded up by your mind being a tyrant in your life and just telling you to go after all these superficial things, you're never going to know this deeper essence of yourself that you are, that God created you to know. You're not going to know your real journey from God to this earth, back to God. And always, Jesus says, I am with you always. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. And in that one verse I was saying earlier, the thief comes. Jesus is describing what the thief does in this world through other people, through forces that we can't see, and through politics, and through patterns in this world, through patterns, ways people treated you in childhood. The thief works in all these different ways, but he comes to kill and steal and destroy. But Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. And then the next verse, John 10:11, is I am the good shepherd. All right. And if you want to know about this, I really suggest, and I have lots of videos on this, so just look up hashtag Psalm 23, but memorize Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, therefore I lack nothing. I lack nothing. There's no thing I lack. And so everything means nothing to me. Anyway, so we'll go back to all of that, but in our own ways here. And so a woman meeting with the wise woman, right? And then woman as a temptress, this other version of a woman, this lower version. Do you want to take that thing right now and just feed your flesh? Like the church will teach, there's 3 enemies of the soul: the world, the flesh, and the devil. Basically, the world and its systems, which tell you, yes, this is what you have to run after. This is how you get your worth. Your flesh, which just says, well, I just want a taco right now. And it's like, no, I'm not going to be with Mr. Right now. I'm going to be with Mr. Right, right? But if I keep hanging out with Mr. Right now, then I won't see Mr. Right, and he won't see me because I'm lost in that deception, in that lesser thing, right? And don't judge yourself. Just look at, like, do I want that? Or do I want the counterfeit? Do I want a fake $100 bill, or do I want $1 million, right? And so, and then it says atonement with Father. This is how this person wrote it out. At one meant is what I learned, what atonement. You go back with the creator, who is love, who is goodness itself, who is the good shepherd. You're aligning, and you're actually learning how to be a good shepherd and a good king to yourself and towards other people, because you're not in a transactional relationship with other people or yourself. Apotheosis, I don't remember what that is. The ultimate boon, you get this anyway. Then the refusal of the return, you don't want to return back, whatever. This magic flight, rescue from without, crossing the return threshold, master of both worlds. You know, you're in your spiritual element, and you're also learning how to navigate through this earth, because we're meant to learn how to do that here. Good housekeepers, if you want to understand it that way. And then freedom to live. And then it says equilibrium, stability. So this is just Joseph Campbell's, but let's look at it in this song, all right? So that was what I was going to show you there. I have this quote from this guy named Eckhart Tolle. He's a mindfulness teacher, all right? And so he doesn't point to Christ as salvation, but and so sometimes, so I always have a caveat when I introduce a quote by him, but he teaches the words of Christ. So many of the teachings of Christ, the verses that Christ says, on about 1,000%, whatever, 90% deeper level than a lot of Christians understand those verses. And so I'm in this juxtaposition all the time about whether to mention him or not, but right now, I mean, I've learned so much about being more deeply in the present moment because of this man. And I just pray that he comes to whatever all of the real true salvation is that Christ offers. But anyway, I wish that for all of us, right? He says in the book, The Power of Now, right? And I have my caveats about that, but use your discernment, that's all. Every addiction arises from an unconscious refusal to face and move through your own pain. Every addiction starts with pain and ends with pain. Whatever the substance you are addicted to, alcohol, food, legal or illegal drugs, or a person, you are using something or somebody to cover up your pain. This is why after the initial euphoria has passed, right? When someone just takes that taco, you know what I'm talking about. There's a guy named... Oh, I see him in my face right now. I met him before. He's from Montreal, but I'll remember his name. But he sings this song, Cigarette. It starts with an R. His name starts with an R. He's a Rufus Wainwright. Okay, he's like a great songwriter as well and musician. But everyone's walking out their own path, right? I'm not saying I agree with all of the things he's gotten into, but he writes a funny song where he says cigarettes and chocolate milk, these are just a couple of my cravings, and he's talking about going to the lesser things, and then you learn from that's not what you want. You don't want the counterfeit, you want the real thing. But I can't choose that for you. I gotta keep working with God to keep choosing that for me. I don't want the lesser thing. All right, and so that's why he says, Eckhart Tolle says, after the initial euphoria has passed, there's so much unhappiness, so much pain in intimate relationships. They do not cause pain and unhappiness. They bring out the pain and unhappiness that's already in you. Every addiction does that. Every addiction reaches a point where it does not work for you anymore, and then you feel the pain more intensely than ever. That's like hitting rock bottom, right? This is one reason why most people are always trying to escape from the present moment and are seeking some kind of salvation in the future. The first thing that they might encounter if they focus their attention on the now is their own pain. And this is what they fear. If they only knew how easy it is to access in the now the power of presence that dissolves the past and its pain, the reality that dissolves the illusion. If they only knew how close they are to their own reality, how close to God. Look, he puts to God. This is just printed out from my Kindle version. Look, to God. He refers you to go to God, or the real God. And so, anyway, let's go to the song, because all right. And so the song that kept coming to me was this aha song. Get it? Aha. We're coming to enlightenment. Aha. I just got that just now, right? And it said this, it's called The Sun Always Shines on TV. And so I got from when I was praying today, and it might have been a distraction in my meditation, right? But it was also, I got just, yes, teach that today. So I ended up having guitar lessons this morning. Hold on, I'm gonna, and so we can see the chords, right? And not that, but some of you are guitar players, so I like showing the chords. Plus, sometimes I forget how the song goes, so I can go back and watch my own videos, so it's good. I had practiced this song yesterday some. I have this singing teacher because I'm learning how to sing instead of just winging it this whole time, because I'm using songs so much for my teaching. And so I woke up early this morning because my guitar teacher's in East Coast, so it's 3 hours earlier here when we meet. And so my voice is all cracky, and I didn't get to practice this morning before I had my lesson. And he's like, all right, go ahead, play me the song that you have been practicing yesterday or whatever. And I was like, I don't remember the strumming. I didn't remember anything because I'd only practiced it a little bit. You know, it'd be better if I had practiced it, but I didn't, so whatever. And so that can be something for us right now, is because I've already spent years with my guitar teacher, you know, and he's an artist. He's a musician himself. I trust him not to make fun of me. And so as you develop this, as you sit in, let's say, it's not develop, you don't have to develop, it's like sit in and be with, have this relationship with yourself, this way of relating and just being loving, then what I had to do is I said, let me just start playing the song and then I'll remember how it goes, because I didn't remember. It's not like, you know, Another One Bites the Dust. Like everyone knows that song. This is a song I knew from childhood some, but I didn't know it well enough that I could just remember how it went when you take it from this grand, you know, band song to a stripped down acoustic song. And so it's just like when you're jumping rope, if there's two people holding the rope, you have, I don't know if you ever did that in your gym class. They taught us how to do that. Like you have to wait until it's over and you think you're going to get whipped, and you can by this rope. If it can go on your face or whatever, if you go, or get you in the behind, if you go in at the wrong time. And so you have to watch the timing and dare to just run in and start jumping, right? And you're like fourth grader, third grader, you know, you don't feel like you can conquer the world at that time. And so I just was going to show you that process in this song so that you can have confidence to suck at something first. It's basically like that. It's just like, don't judge yourself and take on all of the shame because you're not good at something. Like, this is the first time I was playing this song on the guitar. Why do you expect yourself? Look at how cool this is. Like, when you're not naming it, these strings and these tuners right here look like the branches. Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. You know, remain in me and you'll bear much fruit. You will have all these flowers. Don't fear. Don't fear. Let this organic process unfold in you. It's meant to unfold in everybody differently. So don't judge other people. We don't have time to judge other people. You just let this fruit come forth in you and ask God to give you clarity what that is. I'm only one video right now. I mean, I have over 2,000, I think, on all the different platforms. But this is just one video reaching you right now, teaching you about this, teaching you about stuff. Plato said all learning is just remembering. You're remembering this call, that call that I just read from Joseph Campbell's The Thousand Faces is just a call that all of us have. It's a call that we came down here in this earth and incarnated. Carne, it is like carne asada, it's like meat. We agreed somehow with God to be in this flesh suit. We are these souls in these bodies, and we're here for a reason, lots of reasons. One of them being we're all called to be saints, so we're called to be holy. You're called on a high path of holiness. It's not acting holy. It's not acting religious. I'm wearing like this sleeveless shirt and it's backless. Here, I could show you the back. It's backless, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this church tonight. I wonder if it's okay if I wear a backless shirt. But it's just like, this is just how I am and who I am, and I'm not trying to be anyone different, anyone, rocked out or not. I'm not. So whatever, we'll see what happens. But I want to respect other people's boundaries. If that's, is that frowned upon? Anyway, that's funny. That's just a Seinfeld that he was definitely doing something that he ought not to have been doing. But anyway, Costanza. So I'll show you how I did it with my guitar teacher this morning. He's British, and so you can see that it's worth it. You'll get through. I trust that I'll get through the song for us. And I'm not playing the song just to play a song. I'm playing it so that, because we'll see the same stages in the song. And they're universal, and they help remind us why we're here, and to be courageous on our own hero's calling and our hero path. Be present where you are right now. Like, take a deep breath and just welcome your deeper self, yourself beyond your name, beyond your skin color, beyond your age, beyond what the world tells you you're supposed to be. Like, who are you? Who are you? That's what this one Christian mystic teacher would always ask. Who are you? This guy, Anthony DeMello, talks about it too. If you want like a Christian teacher that's teaching what Eckhart Tolle teaches without bringing out the essence of, well, he does talk about the essence of Christianity, but he doesn't talk about he doesn't understand. Anyway, but you can read Anthony DeMello or this guy named John Butler, right? They both include both. So anyway, just if you want more direction in that, but okay. So I just was like, touch me. How can it be? Believe me, sun always shines on you. Okay, see, so I just remembered the rhythm and how the song goes, and I didn't know it at first, and I didn't know that first note. Sometimes he'll have me, it's like he's like, oh, just play this note right here. I'm just guessing, right? Well, I don't know, whatever note he'll tell me, and he goes, the first note that you sing is going to sound like that. So you go, touch me. But I don't even know if that's it. I don't think that is. I don't know how to find it like he does. All right, so I'm going to just sing the song for us and listen to the lyrics, but don't be bound by the lyrics, all right? Touch me, how can it be? Believe me, to your heart, touch me, give all your love to me. Reached inside myself and found nothing there to ease the pressure of my ever worrying mind. Oh, all my powers waste away. I fear the crazed and lonely looks the mirrors sending me these days. Oh, touch me. How can it be? Believe me, the sun always shines on TV. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me. Give all your love to me. Please don't ask me to defend shameful lowlands of the way I'm drifting gloomily through time. Oh, I reached inside myself today, thinking there's got to be some way to keep my troubles distant. Oh, touch me. How can it be? Believe me, the sun always shines on TV. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me. Give all your love to me. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me. Give all your love to me. Give all your love to me. All right. Okay, so that was Aha's song, and that was, I just learned it yesterday. So, I don't want to make excuses. Let's see. But let's look for a second at the song. Thank you to Aha for it, right? And so, if we came from the divine, and if what Plato said was true, that all learning is just remembering, then we remember we came from that oneness. We came from this. God created us in his image and likeness. The Creator created us, the absolute divine love. And so we're saying, touch me, bring me back to the oneness, to the remembrance of that, to the love. How can this be? Our mind can't understand. When Jesus says, my peace I give unto you, and then later on Paul says, this is a peace that passes all your understanding. All right, this is a peace that goes beyond your understanding. So your ego mind, your personality self is not going to understand what this is, right? Touch me. How can it be? How can this be that I am made out of the divine, that I am a spark of the divine, that I have? C.S. Lewis says in the book, The Weight of Glory, I think it's in The Weight of Glory, he says, if you could see each other as you really are, you would be tempted to worship each other. And so there's just so much that clouds are our experience of that, our experience of this divine nature. And of course, Jesus always walked in it. He walked in deep presence. He said, I don't do my will here on earth. I do the will of God. And so he was always perfect in the way he acted. He acted in this perfect balance, like the cross. Tells us to take up our cross every day and follow him. And so it's like he gives us his righteousness and he takes our mistakes upon himself, because the curse had to be reconciled. Like Adam and Eve chose to go away from God and create separation. And so I have this understanding, and you don't have to believe me, but like that Christ somehow brought us back to this. He is this mediator. All right. And so you can ask God to fill you with the Holy Spirit, forgive you for all your mistakes from the past. Ask Christ to live in you. And what C.S. Lewis says in a book called Mere Christianity, and you can look it up on YouTube, there's called C.S. Lewis doodles or something, and someone draws it out in cartoon form, and you can listen, and it's like C.S. Lewis, but it's not C.S. Lewis, but it's another person reading his book, the Mere Christianity, and he talks about how God is making each of us into little Christs. All right. And so anyway, touch me, like I want that divine touch again, right? How can this be? Believe me, and it's like God speaking to us and we're speaking to God. Like he's saying, believe me, believe that this is true, that I always wanted to reconcile you and bring you back, and I'm giving you this second chance. Take the righteousness that I offer to you through Christ, right? We call it like this. This means I receive this offering. That's why people, when they do the sign of cross, you are blessed. When people make the sign of the cross, they're saying, I receive that blessing. And Jesus like died on the cross, and you're saying, I receive your cross. I receive the righteousness that you gave to me. And you don't have to make the sign of the cross to receive that. It's just, if you wanted to know, I didn't know why people made that sign, but I learned it because I was in an Anglican church for 20 years. Believe me, the Son. Okay, so I kept seeing the Son is like the Son of God. Christ shines through you. The sun always shines in this reflection. You are like this TV. Of course, when we make a TV show, it's like, yeah, the sun's always shining, because they don't like film on a gloomy day if they're making this beautiful, vibrant thing, the sun always shines on TV. But I was just thinking, the more you learn how to be in this oneness back with God and let this love flow into you, let your love flow. Like the Bellamy brothers sing this song about let your love flow. Da, 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 just let your love flow like a mountain. Anyway, but I never knew that song. Someone really dear to me introduced me to it. But anyway, that's a long story. But and so, believe me, sun always shines on TV. When you just let yourself be like a TV, be just this vehicle where God can do his show through you. God is beyond he and she. Psalm 27:10 says that. When my father and mother forsake me, the I am that I am, the Lord. That's the word for this absolute infinite beingness, the Yahweh, the I am. The Lord picks me back up, picks me up. All right? The Lord holds me. Oh, here's the next line. Hold me close to your heart. Psalm 27:10 says that. It says, when my mother and father forsake me, that's like when they forsake me when I'm little, really little, and you form this idea of yourself and you pull in all this shame and you have all these programs running, and then they forsake you through, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever you are, like, in your relationships. Like for me, it's a boyfriend. If a boyfriend like lets you down, or a boss like puts you down, or anything, it's kind of like you see it through the eyes of your childhood. And so when my mother and father forsake me in this circumstance, like I had to walk through someone dear to me having cancer, when you have to walk through that with them, right? Because they're in your family and you love them dearly. I forgot what I was saying about that. It's just, it'll come back to me. But it's just, hold me close to your heart. Yeah, that's another way circumstances seem to be forsaking you, but it's not the Creator forsaking you. It's, genetics that have broken down in this world for whatever reasons. We're not meant to have dis-ease. God did not create dis-ease. But Adam and Eve, when they chose to go away from God's plan, walked into a world where God had to put them in a physical body. It says, he put them a skin of, it says he gave them skin clothes. So some people say mystically that means they were in a more spiritual kind of body that didn't have to deal with all this disease or death. We weren't meant to die. That's why he had to go protect. There were 2 trees in the garden. If you want to understand what this story is telling us, is one is the knowledge of good and evil, which they weren't meant to take at that time, and the other is the tree of life. And he said, let's guard them from taking this tree of life. And some people describe Jesus on the cross as giving us back that tree of life so we can have eternal life with God, because God didn't want us to be stuck in a state of living forever apart from God. So we brought somehow this curse upon ourselves, right? And Jesus took the curse upon himself, because it says, cursed is anyone who dies on a tree. So we reverse the curse, but he doesn't make you take it, right? And so you get a choice, but so here's the circumstance in life that I had to walk through, and I'm sure you've had your own ups and downs you had to walk through, but hold me close to your heart. So Psalm 27:10 says, when my mother and father forsake me, the I am that I am picks me back up, holds me, right? And so you're asking God, hold me close to your heart. That's what I need to get through this, to understand you never meant for us to have disease or death or separation from someone you love so dearly, right? That choose to just walk away and didn't know how to value your worth or show up in a meaningful relationship, right? They just went off for tacos. You're like, all right, you do that. God's going to provide me with the whole taco factory in a relationship. And that you can't have your worth based on a taco factory either. That's another thing on this earth. So, but it's more than a taco, right? Anyway, if you understand what I'm saying, then touch me, give all your love to me. Anyway, he sings it really high. But if you go back to that, at communion, when you go and take communion, if you want to understand this mystically and in reality, in the Catholic Church, in the Anglican Church, in the Orthodox Church, they say this is really Christ's body. When we give it up, when we give this bread up to heaven, we're Jesus said, this is my body. Eat that. Look at this heart awakening, right? This is my body, which was given to you. This is my blood. When there's we have the bread and the wine. And so it's the seed and everything God created. And then as we make bread, is we put our labors into what God created, just like this life of yours on this earth. It goes in the ground and it grows the wheat. And then you break that down and turn it into, turn it into flour and make bread out of it. And then we're giving that back up to God, just like Jesus was born. He gave his life for us. And so he said, this is the bread. This is my body, which was given for you. This is my blood, which was shed for you, for the redeeming of you, to bring you back to a perfect God that requires perfection. I will be that perfection for you. It's just like if someone sold you to slavery for $1 million and you've been a slave for 15, 20 years or more, and then someone said, I'm paying that $1 million so you can be set free. That's what Christ did. And it's hard to put in words because it's so much deeper than this, but it's really simple too. So that's in this give all your love to me is he says, I give my whole self to you. You give your whole self back to God. That's what the first commandment is. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. It's not because God needs our love. It's because we were created to be in this loving relationship, right? We came from love and we're meant to be in love, right? And so even Rumi, the Sufi poet, Rumi said, whatever you do, wherever you go, be in love. All right, stay. And Jesus said it in John 15:9. He says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Remain in me. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You can't produce. If we broke off one of these branches, it can't keep producing flowers. It can't. And so we're meant to remain. And then later on in that passage in John 15, it says, remain in my love. What does that mean? All right, you get to discover that. Or refuse the call for a while and then go to the belly of the whale and go through your dark night of the soul and hit rock bottom and see that the counterfeit, the taco's not working. Whatever, you got your own. I trust God for your path. I'm not saying whatever. It's deep and it can be painful. And I don't want people to stay in more pain. That's why I do these videos, right? And so he's reflecting, all right? See if this reflects your own monologue. I reached inside myself and found nothing there to ease the pressure of my ever-worried mind. Oh, nothing was relieving that pressure. Remember that quote that I have from Eckhart Tolle about addiction? It's like, because we won't face our pain, invite God into it, ask him to heal us, take that shame from us, show us our real nature and our real calling, and help us to walk back on the King's Highway. Right? Eliot had a song that I got to hear after his death. It's called Dancing on the Highway. It's this highway that's higher than the highs of any addiction. Addictions are just one taco, right? You're worth so much more than that. But if our parents didn't treat us like that, if they just yelled at us and took quick fixes, they taught us by their actions, you're only worth quick fixes. But that's a lie. And Jesus did not take a quick fix. This ain't no quick fix, if you want to know. He didn't do this for nothing. So ask him, why did you die on a cross for me? Why did you do that? Because he didn't do anything just haphazardly, just because, right? Just like someone wouldn't go, oh yeah, I'll just give you $1 million just cause, right? It's like, no, they see your value and they choose to rescue you out of slavery. I reached inside myself and found nothing there to ease the pressure of my ever-worrying mind. My mind has been my tyrant and has been running my life. Jesus says, do not worry. Why are you worrying about all these things, about your clothes, what you will wear, what you will eat? God knows you need those things. And he knows when a sparrow falls to the ground, and he said 5 sparrows are worth a penny or something. Aren't you worth so much more than a sparrow? And he knows when every sparrow goes to the ground, right? Anyway, and so he says, what can you add to your life by worrying? And it doesn't mean, oh, I just don't worry. It means start putting your confidence and trust in God. I have a, let me see if I can turn this. Well, then you'll see all this stuff, but that's okay. Look, so it's up there. My confidence and trust is in God, divine love. Every time I go into this present moment, I am trusting love to be there with me, okay? So I'm trusting love to be there with me. That's over my desk to remind myself, don't be afraid to open your heart, right? And go be with God. Ask God, help me be in this present moment. I've been scared to go into the silence because when I go into the silence, all this sadness, all my programming comes up. My mind goes blah, blah, blah. And then you just sit and you watch the mind. It's just like birds flying in the sky or clouds coming or fish swimming in an aquarium. And you just learn, I'm not those thoughts. I'm not the programming. I'm not the shame. And you experience yourself as not being that. And God will keep teaching you in that. But anyway, I couldn't find anything there to ease the pressure of my ever worrying mind. All my powers, when we do, there's a verse in Proverbs that says, trust in the Lord, the I am that I am, this absolute infinite beingness that's before all creation, that's not dependent on anything, that's sovereign. It's trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. That's just limited. In all your ways, acknowledge him, go, hey God, how would you do this? Because you're seeing all of the timelines of all of this life and so much more. I won't go into more, but trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. He'll direct you on the highest path, right? We were just reading about King Saul this morning. He was supposed to take out all the Amalekites. Maybe they had crossbred with animals, or I don't know what they did, the Nephilim or something, but the Amalekites were meant to be taken out, and he didn't take out the king. And I think later on, if I remember correctly, that guy Haman that tried to take out all of the Jewish people later through Queen Esther and Mordecai, he had this decree where they were going to abolish all of the whole Jewish people because this one king Saul let him live, and he had, I think that's how it was. But even if it wasn't, I know that Haman came about because of that, because of someone's disobedience. And so we don't understand all of it. And Saul was like, I'm not going to take out a king because I'm a king and I would want someone to let me live in a battle. And it's like, well, you're not seeing that, 500 years from now, someone from this lineage, because they're of this Nephilim mixed breed or something. And I'm not talking about genocide, so I'm not going into all of that. So anyway, it's nothing like that. But anyway, God sees this bigger picture. He's playing the chessboard 1,000 layers higher than us, right? Anyway, all my powers, my own powers of my own will to do this waste away. I fear the crazed and lonely looks the mirror's sending me these days. And so I'm reading this book, Surprised by Joy, about C.S. Lewis, and he said he kept trying to earn his way to God, and I was like 12, and he was telling himself, I have to pray this certain way where every word, I know the meaning of it, and I know the meaning before God. And he would just stay up till like 1 and 2 in the night, in the morning, trying to do his prayers the right way. And he said if he had kept going on that path, he would have driven himself crazy. And so if you keep letting just this limited mind tell you, you have to earn this, it's like, no, I'm not Christ. Christ was Christ, and he makes us into little Christ. But anyway, all my powers waste away. I fear the crazed and lonely looks the mirror sending me these days, because it's telling you this old story from childhood that's not true. It's not true. You came from love, and you're meant to be loved, and you're on this adventure to learn what true love is, and to be that on this earth, and to be reconciled and vivified into that and turned back into that love, and everything else burned away, and then you become holy because you're meant to be holy. It says be holy, right? Anyway, and then he goes back to the chorus, touch me. How can this be, right? How can it be? How can it be, right? How can this real love be? Believe me, the sun always shines on TV. The sun, Jesus says, you are the light of the world. And he says, I am the light of the world. Hold me close to your heart. He is like showing the reality. The chorus is showing us when you hold God close to your heart and you say, you have given me everything. You came down from heaven to redeem me. I give you all of myself. Why not? What have I to lose? I've only been wrecking this thing anyway by running after tacos instead of, this is a real thing eternally, right? Jesus says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and God's righteousness, this right way of beingness. And then all these other things on this earth will be added to you as well. They'll be added to you. You don't have to worry, right? And then he goes on to, here's the second verse. Please don't ask me to defend the shameful lowlands of the way I'm drifting gloomily through time. Oh, so don't ask me to defend these lowlands that I'm going in, this dark despair and this depression. I don't know how to defend it because it's not leading me anywhere except to know that this is not what I want. See, the dis-ease, the anxiety, the depression, all of that, us acting out in our addiction, show us this is not what I want. This is emptiness. I want fullness. And Jesus says, I came to give you abundant life. All right. And so I reached inside myself today thinking there's got to be some way to keep my troubles distant. Right. And it's not through just numbing yourself and finding a new addiction and finding now I'll just watch TV for 8 hours. Now I'll just do this. Now I'll run and jump into another relationship or whatever. It's not those things. It's sitting through, inviting God into the pain, being present. Going, wait, what if I find out that I'm more than these problems? I'm more than this shame. I'm not all of those things. I'm more than my huge bank account or my empty bank account. That's not who I am. Ask yourself, is that really who you are? I watched this video, a little part of this video this morning. This woman, I've lost 22 pounds, right? And so, but this woman has lost a little more than that. She's lost 37, and she was just saying and if you don't know your identity, she wasn't talking about it in God as you're this valuable person that God created. That's love. That Jesus wouldn't have died unless you were worth dying for. He chose to show you your worth by his actions. C.S. Lewis writes in one of his books, and lots of people have written this, that if you were the only person on earth, he would have died for you. He would have done this for you. But she's like, just when you shrink your body, if you don't work on this, you don't work on this knowing, I'm, adding, then you can have this skinny body and it won't matter. You're not going to get your confidence and your worth from that skinny body. That's just temporary. Like, it's great because you're letting go of all these old patterns that you were carrying on your body. And don't worry. She's like, I was the same person and I was worth the same. I had to tell myself, you're worth this at 165 pounds or whatever she was. You're worth the same. Someone texted me this morning, my guy friend, and he's like, you're innately valuable, right? Because I'm like, thank you y'all are just valuing me as a person, and I appreciate the friendship. I have this friendship with these people. Anyway, so I reached inside. I'm trying to think my way there. You can't think your way there, but it's like, you got to find love. Bring me a higher love. Steve Winwood sings that, right? And like, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. This is just a picture for you unless you know what this is. That's a reality that happened in this world for you. But anyway, so the singer in Aha is singing this for our souls. We're saying to God, touch me. How can it be that you love me that much? Believe me. And God is saying, believe me, the sun always shines on TV. It's more than just TV shining at you and telling you something that's empty. It's something real. There's something real. You have a remembrance of this love, or you wouldn't be watching this video. Trust that you have a knowing, your intuition, your inner teaching. And God gave this. It is in John 1:9. Go meditate on that verse, right? Christ is the light which lighteth every person that's on this earth, right? Every soul-bearing person. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me. Give all your love to me. Jesus said it's more blessed to give than to receive. So when we're giving all this worship to God, not for what he can do for us, just because God is God, God is love, right? John 1:9. 1 John 4:7 and 8. 1 John 4:7 and 8. Beloved, let us love one another. Let's do this. For love is of God, and everyone that loves is born of God and knows God. When you love not, you don't know God, because God is love. All right. So ask God, show me how to love for real, not transactionally. And he will pour all this love in you, and you'll know it, and you'll live in it. And Jesus said, remain in my love. What does that mean? Even if you've never heard of Jesus, right? What does it mean when Jesus, most everybody in this world agrees that at least he was a high conscious teacher. When he's saying, like, the Father as the Father, God, the creator, the absolute infinite beingness that's before all time, has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. What does that mean? What does it mean to remain in this love? The word sin means to miss the mark. That means I just missed this mark of perfect love. I didn't know what it was. Show me what that love is. Let me know it. So we're just praying this to God. Hold me close to your heart, God. Show me what that is, right? Oh, I have my water cup. Let me see if I brought it up here. I think I left it downstairs, so I'm going to take it to my office. It just says, be mine. It's a big heart that says, be mine. I am my beloved. He is mine. His banner over me is love. That's in Song of Solomon. All right, so it says, touch me and give all your love to me. And God doesn't ask you that before he did it first. It says we loved him. St. Paul says that. We loved him because he first loved us. He first opened his heart up for us. He looks way different than this. This is just one image that some artist did, right? Don't limit Christ to that. I have this. I like this image too, because look, on this side there's like feminine, and this side is the masculine. Whoever did this is an ancient icon of Christ, right? He's encompassing both, like the yin and the yang and the wholeness of who we are. That Eve came out of Adam, and we're meant to unite this somehow. That's why we think. And even this, look at how he's holding his fingers. I learned from an Orthodox monk. He said, because this is your divine nature and this is your human nature, and you have both on earth. And here's God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. And this is, he's giving you his blessing because he's giving you all of this. God gave you your human life. He gave you this divine spark. And he's saying, come back to this. There's a relationship between God and the Holy Spirit and Christ for all eternity. And he's sharing that with us. So he's giving all his love to us. All right. So I didn't mean to like proselytize you to Christianity. It's just, if you understand it, this is the way I know how to convey this love. This is where and God might have shown it to you 1,000 different ways and you didn't know. C.S. Lewis says that in Mere Christianity. God is working in people's lives, and a lot of people are becoming Christians already, but not yet calling themselves by the name because they didn't know that they were Christians. And he said a lot of people who are still calling themselves Christians, even clergy, have moved away from real Christianity, and yet they're still calling themselves by the name Christianity. And so ask God what that is and what true Christianity is. Christ in us, right? This hope of glory, this redemption. Like Bob Marley sings, all I ever had, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Right? Free yourself from the mind. But Jesus can help you do that by going, you're so much more than a mind, and running after tacos when you can have a whole taco factory. It's like you get all of eternity. Just meditate on Matthew 6:33, what Christ is saying. He can show you all these things. Just sit for an hour with one of these verses. You're worth it. You're worth it. Much love. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you, Aha, too, for this song.